All right. I'm doing a quick live video. Not to get live people on here. It's just because I don't feel like going through the process of editing and stuff because I'm in the middle of editing the Pulp Fiction Clix to Flicks, which should be done by tomorrow. So that's going to be exciting, and I'm pretty pumped up for that. But I'm going to just make a tag for this thumbnail and share it amongst some groups because we are trying to push here. At least it seems like a California Bronze Age. So the Bronze Age going on, I actually been digging through a lot of you figure I've ran a store for probably about 6-7 years. I've been playing Clix probably for almost a decade. You're going to have boxes and boxes and boxes of just Clix. So I have to go in there sometimes and start picking through things for things I'm like, oh crap, where did I put this? Because I started really getting organized once we got the new cards. It was easier for me to have binders by sets, and it's just such an easier way to do your Clix. Anyway, so I don't want to make this too long, but basically going through just this stuff over and over and over again. There were some pieces that I wanted to bring attention to for anyone looking for Bronze Age and not just play Modern and then add a resource or add equipment or whatever, but actually look at some older stuff. So I think I grabbed about, 8 pieces that I'm going to throw on you real quick and tell you, these are not bad. And I'll tell you a little bit of why. So the first one is Wolverine vs. X-Men or Forge. So Forge, normally I'd pop up the card and all that. Sorry, not going to do it on this one because we're doing it live. Give Forge a free action, and he can heal adjacent character with armor or robot keyword. So remember, this guy is Mystical, Soldier, and X-Men. If you have an X-Men team that happens to have an X-Men robot on there or something like that, right now with all the robot love and all that going on, it's pretty big. So he being able to do it as a free action, also a vehicle, but armor, robot, keyword, or an adjacent vehicle. That's really big. That's huge. We always want to look on the back, see what he does, but it looks like he starts with the 10 attack and is a special, which is when Forge hits an opposing character with a range combat attack before damage is dealt, choose a power for that character. That character can use. That character can't use this power or any combat or team abilities until next turn. That's huge. Forge, he's 50 points, 90 points. Think of the other Forge, I think that's lower. It's a big chunk of your team. So I don't know if you ever would want to risk something like this, but I still think for this just being tossed in one of my bins, this is pretty playable in a Bronze Age setting. Being teamed with X-Men, being teamed with healing robots, and basically he's shutting off powers because you are doing, I believe that character can't use that power. It's not an outwit. So you hit him. It's almost like the LE of this, but I think it's a little bit better. Once per game, he has the white box that's on the damage. Give Forge a power action if he occupies the same square as an adjacent, the same square as an object, and remove that object from the game. If you do, for the rest of the game, Forge can use Perplex even if the power is countered or lost. So I think that's just a cool piece. 90 points. I didn't realize it was 90 points, to be honest with you, but there might be ways to do it. Another thing, going to robots, Ultron. The Ultron 8 that everyone used with the Quinjet. So we all know we use these with Quinjets. You call in people, blah, blah, blah. Now we got tons of danger rooms and constructs, or the danger room, wherever they call them, constructs. And again, tons of robots. So these guys can just get squeezed on your robot team during a time we didn't have low point characters. So 30 points, you can make call-ins for 120. I mean, they're the Ultron 8s. I believe there might be another Ultron that does it. Again, I was just digging through my box, and when I was going through a bunch of, like I said, it's just bins and bins, and I'm just going across people going like, oh, thinking I just made a big old speech on our Facebook page on the California Heroclix connection, talking about Bronze Age and what ideas you guys can do. Look back at older stuff, and I thought it'd be a good idea to show some of these older things that you could probably play around with. This Hulk, he's a really goofy Hulk. He's Roller Warrior Brute. He's 193, which when we get those dumb points or whatever, he could also be 55. It's a weird color. But no matter what, he's still, I believe, even at 55. Is that 55? He just starts on that dial. So possibly at that 55, He just starts on that dial where it says Hulk has toughness. Hulk ignores all damage to him unless it is dealt by an attack, and that attack has doubles, but cannot be a critical miss. Friendly characters cannot use prob during an attack that the target's Hulk. This power cannot be countered or ignored. So back then, we didn't have a ton of replacement dice. Now we have things like the Q and things like that where we can replace dice. So whenever someone hits doubles on this guy, he's I think a good strategy on a can't die team. If you have something like that. Again, we all don't got the expensive Q. I got the cheaper Q, but it is what it is. But yeah, so that, and I believe when you play that, so all he has on there is 10 no defense, Battle Fury, so it doesn't matter. It's almost like a Lobo. It doesn't matter what your defense is. You have to roll a certain amount. So that Hulk, again, if you build around it right, you start him at 55, he has 1 click. You just kind of go in there using his 10 attack for 4 damage Battle Fury. Could be fun. Then we got Mole Man. Mole Man monsters. Monsters are still good. They're always going to be good. I played Mole Man so much. It's crazy. I have so many of these because I kept getting afraid I was going to lose them. He has a 9, but he gets +3 when he mind controls a friendly monster, and he doesn't take damage for doing so. Back then, you used to take damage if there were so many points. But just a huge thing, man. A lot of these colossals are monsters and stuff like that. Him mind controlling them. I mean, don't get me wrong, some are protected, but the ones that you can, bringing him out, and he is only 47 points. Why, WizKids? Why are they weird? Good thing he is a monster, so he will not break theme. And on top of it, he has scientists, so there are some good scientist teams out there. But this Mole Man's really big. The fact that he has mind control only to target characters monster keyword, including friendly ones. When using mind control, Mole Man cannot. Oh yeah, okay. Just want to make sure I didn't miss that if he had like more targets, but that's really good. You throw Mora next to him, and he could target 3 monsters, friendlies or against. You'd probably want to put monsters on your team, but hey, that's just me. Other is Jocasta. This is a really cheap possession, very very cheap compared to like Brainiac and stuff like that. Black hands on the lower end side, but she could only be equipped to armor and robot. So that's a really big deal. But we have a ton of robots. She has Invul, she has Precision, and she has a really good white box that you could take. She can use Outwit and Perplex, but only to target within 3 squares. So you kind of got to get in there, but it's still decent to have both of those. She is only 25 points when you use her as a possessor. I just think it's not bad. Again, with all this robot stuff, like her just hanging around, and she was a rare from Age of Ultron, hanging around in my booster or my boxes. I was like, you know what? She's not bad just to have thrown on some robot character. If you have that room, depends. If you have Brainiac, you're going to put Brainiac on there. I'm just saying this is more budget. This is more you trying to play Bronze Age and you're trying to just dig through your old crap and see what you can play. Again, there's a lot better pieces out there than probably what I'm showing you, but these are just things I'm pulling up where I'm like, it's kind of crazy. Split lip, we all know what split lip does, and if you don't, you must have not been playing during that time. But basically, when you let me just read it. Friendly characters can use free action as the power action to make a relic roll and modify their roll by +1, if not already modified by this fact. People use him for using older relics. So any relics back in the day, you had a roll, usually it was a 5 or 6, to pick it up. When Split Lip was out there, he's only 20 points. And he's okay. He has enhancements, so it's all right. He has a little more to do. Keywords are Stark Industries, as Guardian, and Armor. Again, we're going back to the robot armor type of stuff. He's a big deal for if you want to use certain relics, and people still choose to use hammers and stuff like that in Bronze Age. So again, he was just floating around there, but I thought the same, like, hey, people probably use Split Lip nowadays, but you never know. But just seeing him in a box full of junk, how to bring him up. The other one was Yondu. Give Yondu a power action, make a ranged combat targeting a single opposing character regardless of line of fire. So he basically can make, shoot out of adjacency or shoot range within people, something like that. Let's see. He's got precision, which is great, and 11 attack and 3 damage. But he can shoot within 8, but it could go through the line of sight, doesn't matter. So you're seriously just zipping his arrow around. Granted, I'm sure the other Yondu, I haven't looked at him forever. The chase is probably great. But this guy's 76 points, not bad. It's just for what he does. You'd probably want to make stuff beefier around him. You probably want to equip him with something. But just the idea that you could be hiding, it's almost like Gardner nowadays, and you could keep attacking and attacking. He doesn't have willpower, which is kind of something that hurts him. But just the ability to sit there and hit, and it doesn't matter where you're at, you could target anybody on the board. So that was one guy. And then the last guy I picked up was some guy we always talk about, and that is Phantom X. The best thing about Phantom X, you pop out Eva. Everyone that has played Phantom X knows this, but again, you may not know it. Eva, I believe it's a power action. When a Phantom X has one action token and no friendly, character named Eva is on your force, you may give him a free action. So it's a free action, but he has to have one action token on him. You pop her out, and then basically she could move 8, and once she moves, Phantom X can use running shot, shape change, stealth. He can use that all through her. So friendly characters named Phantom X can use toughness and may draw lines of fire and count squares and range from Eva's square. So this is another fun thing people like to do and people like to use. It's kind of odd we didn't get any robot or anything like that. This one's a little bit trickier because you're probably going to play a non-themed team. He is 142, but I know a lot of people did a lot of crazy things with it. The only thing I was thinking is we have other Phantom X's now. So this Eva says Phantom X could do this, this, and this, long as Phantom X is on the board or whatever. So does that mean we use multiple Phantom X's and do different things with them? I don't know. Maybe something to look into. But again, this was a very competitive piece for just being a rare back in the day. And I remember being really, really, really fun. Now, can it hang now? I don't know. I'd have to try it out. It's kind of tough. He's got Weapon X, X-Force, Spy, Martial Artist. Don't know if you're going to do theme team. Most people don't do theme teams. It's super competitive. But again, if you're just trying to play Bronze Age and get used to it and stuff like that, I recommend trying out these oldie but goodie guys that we all used to play a long time ago. And again, they were just in my bin, a bucket with, I luckily had a stack of cards in one of them, and they had all the cards in here for these. So these I am bringing for the most part. I think I need the Ultrons. But for the most part, bringing these to my shop and seeing who needs them and may use them. But again, normally I like to make it all fancy, throw things up, whatever. But that is it. I just wanted to stop in and just say that, talk a little bit about Bronze Age, and hopefully you guys can keep spreading it wherever you live, wherever you guys play, and make Bronze Age a thing, because I think it's going to be fun. And we got a couple events coming up within November to here. We got a few days of it, so let's get it going. You guys start ranking your Bronze Age, and always ask if you guys have any questions. See ya.